Hi there, this is Prentice Rhodes from Functional Fitness Over 40 and Prentice Rhodes Coaching. And today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about adaptation. Now, regarding fitness training or any type of sports modality, we generally think of adaptations as things that are happening, whether you build more muscle, whether your bones become denser, you become more flexible, you gain endurance, or you are able to create a condition for motor learning to develop sports skill. And these are all adaptations that we definitely need to go through. One thing that I want to talk about is the idea of mental adaptation. Now, one thing that a good friend of mine used to say in the past is that he used to talk about evolution and you need to evolve, 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 evolve. And one of his sayings was, he who evolves can see the future first. And that's a good statement, and I use that, and I do believe that if you keep doing the same things, and there's sometimes a more efficient way of doing something, it's very easy for things to pass you by. But what I want you to think about is that the one who adapts the best will be able to handle the changes that come along with the future. Say, for example, you do all of this work, you create the adaptations, and then you evolve, and that evolution is good. But what if the circumstances change really quickly and you aren't able to adapt to meet up with those changes? Well, then that evolution wasn't very beneficial for you. So one thing that I challenge myself, and I'd like to challenge everyone else to do, is to learn how to adapt and allow that evolution to reflect and teach you to thrive in the environment that you find yourself adapting in. So he who has the benefit of being able to both see the future and adapt to those changes, well, that's the one who's going to be pretty successful. Now, this is pretty long-winded, but how does this apply to your fitness? Well, one of the adaptations that we make, and one thing that I've had to make is that as I've become an older athlete, is I've had to first accept where I am. Now, what does that mean? I'm not talking about a self-help kind of acceptance, but what I'm saying is that my body has a few miles on it, and I have to respect the changes that my body has gone through. Maybe it's something with recovery. I don't recover the same, so I have to pay a lot of attention to recovery strategies now. Maybe I have an older injury that I didn't rehab properly, so I have to take care to pay attention to that, to make sure that that's not adversely affecting any of my movements, whether that's in martial arts or weight training. And speaking of weight training, my training, or the volume and the intensity that I use now, that has to reflect my current state. I can't do necessarily exactly the same things that I did 20 years ago. It's just not realistic right now. Close, but not exactly. So my training needs to reflect that so that I can continue to make gains as I get even older. One of the other things that adaptation will force us to do is we have to blend old ideas with new ideas. Now, a lot of us have come up with certain training systems, certain training regimes, and they've served us well in the past. And there are also new ways of doing things. There are people who are very smart who've broken down some of the training systems of the past greats, and they've combined that with the knowledge that we've learned as far as advancements in understanding how the human body works with physiology, things like that, to create systems that are just more efficient to use. And we want to be efficient. Most of us have jobs and families that take us to many different places, and sometimes we have to be flexible. So the time that we actually do get to exercise needs to be efficient, and we have to believe that the things that we are doing are going to be, they're going to give us the gains, they're going to give us the positive results that we wanted, or why do them in the first place? One thing that will allow us to adapt, another thing that will allow us to adapt is to learn how to leverage technology. Now, as I sit here recording this video, it's even a wonder that I'm doing this kind of all by myself, because I'm definitely not a technophile by any stretch of the imagination. But what I have learned is that using technology has helped me to be more accountable to myself. It's helped me track things like my recovery as well as my gains. I'm also able to remain accountable by programming the results of my workout, the numbers, so to speak, of what I've accomplished during that day of training. So it's whatever those devices are. I know one thing that I use, in full disclosure, I'm not endorsing, nor am I paid by any of these companies. These are just a couple of things that I enjoy using. I love the Endomondo app for cardiovascular training, something that keeps me accountable. It's fun. I get to get cool badges. The Fitbit technology is something that I really enjoy. It keeps me accountable to myself, and I like getting the notifications once in a while. It's a motivator. I use Google Drive, for example, to plug in the results of my training. That's just an awful thing when you, in a rush, go to the gym and forget your notebook, which, you should keep a notebook, or your workout didn't really happen at all. But now I can use my device and plug that into a cloud, and I've created a spreadsheet for that helps me stay on top of training, and I would challenge everyone to do that as well. The final thing that is important regarding your mental adaptation is to, number one, have a plan. You need a structure, because sometimes you just don't have the time. We want to be efficient with our time, so having a plan will help us to make better use of our time. But realistically, sometimes things fall off the rails. You can have a sick kid. Work requires more things of you, so you're spending a lot of time doing things like that, and as a result, you can fall off the plan. So having the plan and knowing kind of what you want to accomplish will teach you to be, hopefully you'll be able to be more flexible and pick things that are same but different. Maybe if you can't go on a long training run, you can jump rope in your company garage, or your company gym, or your garage when you get an opportunity. If you can't do your weight training session, maybe you can do similar body weight exercises that don't take you too far away from your responsibilities, but you're still you're still in the mindset of having to train. And when you take all of these things into consideration, just accepting where you are and building out your programming accordingly, blending old and new ideas to help you develop a practice, number one, that you like, but something that's more efficient and can serve you better, leveraging technology to keep you accountable, and also learning how to be flexible, you can make these adaptations that will lead you on the path to developing a more sustainable fitness routine. It'll help you really develop that fitness lifestyle. Okay? Thank you. I'd like you to leave some comments about how you've learned how to use adaptations, or what your adaptations are that will keep you accountable to your fitness lifestyle, your goals, your desires. Leave a comment, and I'll see you next time.